To me. Alright, chat. It is time. We won the Fiesta Bowl in unbelievable fashion. We are ready for our final few weeks of recruitment. And we finished the season 11th in the nation. Incredible year. Incredible season. We accomplished our goals. We're getting out of this ridiculous option. I mean, it is in NASCAR, so fair enough. And I'm definitely down to play NASCAR again on stream sometime. Want to play something with some streaming friends who'd be interested in the movie watch party one night? Potentially. Potentially, possibly. My schedule is just so stupidly jam-packed on a day-to-day basis. But potentially. Let's hit yes. Want to make sure I don't mess anything up. So we get the players leaving. Play Wreckfest in NASCAR. I mean, we basically do anyway. It's called We Have an Australian in the Lobby. So, that's what that's called, thanks to the lag. It's called Just Have an Australian in the Lobby. F1 season starts in 2 weeks. That it does. I am excited. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. Now, we know we have some big seniors leaving, but are there people who want to leave otherwise that are not seniors? Holy shit. Okay. Whew. So, running backs. Ryan Butler is on the way out. We knew it was coming. He's projected to go in the 4th round of the NFL draft. So, to Mr. Ryan Butler, we love you. Thank you. 38 career touchdowns in 4 seasons here. One of our first major recruits. Fullback-wise, he was also a tight end. Adrian White, we knew he was leaving as well. Technically only really featured in 2 seasons. Wide receiver-wise, no one's leaving. Tight end, Aaron Mcrae is declaring for the draft as a junior. Now, he's projected for the 6th round, but I can try to convince him to stay. And I'm trying to think, like, we have a high persuasion chance. I mean, the only thing I can really sell him on is like, hey, college degree. I can't guarantee a conference title. I don't want to take the hit. I'll just try to sell him on, hey, stay and get your degree. And he's staying. Okay, so thank God. We avoid losing Aaron Mcrae. Good. On the O-line, we do lose left tackle Sammy Mays. Absolute beast of a man. Only gave up 1 sack in his senior year, but of course he also got hurt, I think. Let's see. Nobody else on the O-line. Defensive end. God, this sucks. Teddy Palmer, projected for the 3rd round. 21.5 sacks in 4 years. We're also losing Tom Holman, who was also more of a depth option for us. On the right as well, we're also losing Craig McNair, who's projected for the 5th round. 16 career sacks in his 4 seasons. And of course, at defensive tackle, Thomas House is also gone. I don't know how the hell we're going to replace these options. He had 12.5 sacks in 4 years. Walter Sanders was a depth option who also graduates. At linebacker, Eric Bailey as a junior is declaring for the draft, projected in the 3rd round. Let's see. It's only a high persuasion chance. Are we going to lose Eric Bailey a year early? He's undecided. I mean, he's already projected as a 3rd round pick. I don't think it's out of the question to say he'll be a 2nd round pick. He's staying, thank God. So we also convinced Eric Bailey to stay. Middle linebacker, we knew we were losing Mike Carr, who started off as a safety, turned into a very good linebacker. 116 tackles, no picks in his career. Booch, what's going on, buddy? Maddox is also gone. And Wade, as a sophomore, is declaring for the draft, projected in the 4th round. Same thing, I gotta try to get him to stay. College degree was enough, so thank God we're able to persuade these juniors that we have enough sway. I hate, or, you know, these non-seniors, the underclassmen. Daryl Moore is leaving, which sucks. He's a short safety, but this guy's a beast. The fact that he only had 46 tackles in his career, I think just kind of shows it might have been playing time, but more so they just didn't throw his way. And we're also losing Darryl Ball. So we're losing our defensive line, we're losing our safeties. It's a tough time, but at least we convinced some players to stay, because otherwise we would be absolutely boned. Like, absolutely boned. If everyone left that we just talked to, we would have been screwed. So we get to the draft results. Palmer was a 3rd-round pick, Butler was a 4th, a 5th-round pick in McNair, and a 7th-round pick in Thomas House. So all 4 guys who declared for the NFL draft were selected, which is great news. We've still never sent a 1st-round pick to the pros, but still, very good stuff. No transfer requests, no one's confident they'd be able to play. So that brings us to this 5-week recruitment period where we look to lock down our remaining options. So it sucks to see some of those players go. Thank God more of them aren't leaving than what could have happened. But we know we have a tough offseason here. We're still projected to be the #1 team in the nation, apparently, according to our outlook. We'll see if that happens. And we only have 12 scholarships left. We have a top 11 class in the nation right now. Let's see what we can do on the board here. And again, visits will very much be a thing again, unfortunately. Got a lot of people on soft commits to us as well. So, Rich Robinson, let's see what we can do for you. Schedule you for a visit. We now have an A+ in proximity to home, apparently. And that's very low. So, we'll get Rich Robinson on the visit this week. Just go for the highest grades, even though one was very low. William Dorsey. It looks unlikely that we're going to be able to close the gap for this guy. Unfortunately. Yeah, I'm just going to remove Mr. Dorsey there. We have Pollard as well, which again, biggest competition is Bama, which is scary as hell. We'll get him in for a visit this week. Find out proximity to home, which is great. So proximity to home now, he's from Texas, but it says we have good proximity to home. So I don't know what's up with that, but we will gladly take advantage of that, and he should have a very good week. Let's see, Mosley. Again, I don't think we're going to be able to close the gap here. Pretty sure all the promises are out, as well as the offers. So, Nigel Williams. You could make the argument that we could close the gap, but I just don't have the time. I'd rather go for someone like John Johnson, who's proven that we actually have a fighting chance. So let's scout out Mr. Johnson a little bit. I don't know how good he is. Frank, what's up, buddy? It's been a fun hockey night so far, and now we're hoping to cap it off here with a very successful NCAA run. Holy A+, Jesus Christ. Well, this is fucking absurd. There's no way John Johnson's not going to be first on the list here very soon. Very, very soon. I mean, yeah, 3 greens. That's absurd. Hooray for not getting bullshit, right? Again, same thing. Greg Pierre. Just don't think we'll be able to make up the ground. Mr. Harris. Already on a soft commit. Schedule him for this week. I mean, we're pretty much already guaranteed a good visit. So, I like our odds here with Harris. And again, we got the 1 green. That A+ doesn't work, but this A- does. Frank, how's a day in the life of a teacher in Australia? Sean Campbell. Take a look at you as well. Some tough competition. Now we know what to schedule you for. Do I follow the NFL closely? I do. Am I looking forward to the draft? Yes. Now, normally with the NFL draft, I try not to get too hyped up. I will admit that's probably because I'm a Patriots fan, and it's a combination of late-round picks, and also Bill Belichick's had some interesting draft picks in the past decade. But I am very much interested in the NFL draft this year, not just for the Patriots, but obviously how a lot of things are going to play out. Because, I mean, number 1 pick in Trevor Lawrence is dead set, but then, like, what, the Jets are second, and it's like, well, are they going to take a quarterback, or are they going to take an O-lineman? Like, are they sticking with Sam Darnold or not? And what they do has a complete effect on what everybody else does for the rest of that round. So, yeah, the NFL draft is going to be awesome to watch this year, I have a feeling. Granted, I hope it's not as kind of weird as last year's was. Like, I'm sorry, like, it sucks to watch an entry draft into a league with no fans there. Like, even if every year we get the same generic here, the Jets fans booing the pick no matter what. Like, I miss that now. How could you not, right? Today was decent, nothing exceptional. Fair enough. Fair enough. Could be worse. Lions fans are always hyped for the draft. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be a Lions fan right now. I mean, I wouldn't like to be a Lions fan in general, but it's like, hey, Matt Stafford's gone. That's the end of an era that we completely wasted. Not that I have to remind you of this, and I'm sorry for doing so, but, you know, you get the point. Will Russell Wilson be traded? From the sounds of it, he should be. Everything I've heard about that situation, it just seems like they're done with him. And that Russ is maybe more of a diva than I think any of us ever thought he was or knew that he was. And it just sounds like a lot of people on that team are sick of his bullshit. So, I mean, when you're hearing stories like that and former players on the team coming out and being like, yeah, no, we didn't really like him, we just put up with him. That's not a good sign. To say the absolute least. I'm a Dolphins fan and can't be more thankful from the... Oh, dude, the Houston pick's nuts. Again, I will shout out the Toogies Take podcast that I run with my buddy Deej, who is a Miami Dolphins fan as well. And, yeah, we've talked about football quite a bit because of that. And, you know, legitimately for Dolphins fans, I'm like, I kind of hope it works out for you. I like Brian Flores as a coach, so... We did switch to UMass early tonight, Catcher. I was going to play one more game of 2K10, but I ultimately decided that we have a lot to do on NCAA tonight, so it makes sense to switch to it early. Because I know I can't trust myself to cut myself short with this. Like, that's just not something I do. Like, I get... Like, the hooks for this game are lethal. In terms of you start playing and it's like, well, I'm going to be here for at least an hour and a half. Like, that's just how it works. So, yeah, I decided to not trust myself because I need to try. Like, admittedly, my sleep schedule was already kind of screwed. It's even more screwed by the time jump. I need to try and get it under control. So, that was my thought of stream until the usual time, but try to make it happen. And a Wings jersey, a Tigers jersey, 3 soccer club jerseys. I don't own a Lions jersey to save myself the embarrassment. And I can't say I blame you. And I can't say I blame you. I know I'll get some hate, but I'm a Cowboys fan. No hate from me. The funny thing is, like, maybe if this was the 90s, I'd be like, oh, Cowboys fan, you got it all. Like, no. I got nothing against Cowboys fans. I mean, yeah, there are still some Cowboys fans who are, you know, in the same territory that some Patriots fans are already getting into, where they're fooling themselves about the quality of their team. But, you know, it comes with the territory, right? Alright, how many dudes do we have left? Because I have 5 hours left. Oh, wow, I wasted some time. All these dudes are on soft commits, too. Well, I didn't mean to waste time this week, but it is what it is. Let's go 6 hours with Parker. Schedule you for the visit next week. I mean, again, we don't have that many scholarships left. Could always go with a Calvin Johnson jersey. Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson. God, I still remember playing, like, you know, Madden Superstar mode. It's like, do you want to make your own person? No, I just want to control Calvin Johnson, who, as a rookie in that game, was just so disgustingly good already. Like, so stupidly good. So, I think the answer's there in terms of am I a big NFL fan. Like, the funny thing is, I'm much more of a pro fan than I am an actual college football fan. We've talked about that a lot on stream too. It's just, hey, I'm from New England, like, or, you know, is college football the biggest thing here? No. You can thank the Patriots for that. College sports in general aren't the biggest thing. The funny thing is, the biggest college sport in New England might very well be hockey. Like, maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but man, growing up, it was never like, yeah, college basketball. Like, no. College football, I mean, like, you have, like, the rivalries, but it's like, oh, Boston College, UMass, UMaine, like, football-wise, like, yeah, but, like, on a grand scale, no. Like, those rivalries don't mean shit. Obviously, college baseball is its own thing, and then, yeah, it probably comes down to hockey. So, just drop some of these receivers. We'll see how it plays out. We got a lot of people on the defensive side that can move from spot to spot. It's hoping for Aaron Jones in Miami. I don't know. That guy got paid, and maybe I've just been brainwashed by Bill Belichick, but man, paying certain players, particularly running backs, is a dangerous, dangerous game. So, Steelers fan, but have 2-1 fantasy. I don't know about that one. I'm not saying Tua's not going to make it, but are there reasons to be concerned and to have thoughts over how successful he might be next year? Yes. Holy hell. Well, there we go. We got both kickers we wanted. The 4-star linemen. Woods, Lee, Parker on the defensive line. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Fantastic stuff. Dark Void, what's going on, buddy? You miserable, miserable man. Hope you're doing well, buddy. All right, so apparently all we need now is a middle linebacker. We have 7 scholarships. 7. Right, of course, on the board, the players stay that actually committed to your team, which there's been a lot of them, including these 2 kickers. So our special teams are going to take a huge step up. Again, Pollard would be great. I knew John Johnson would be in first for him. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the big thing right now is just getting people properly scouted. That's the big thing. And that way we can take the lowest rated of the players off the board. Let's see, we're first for Patrick King as well. He's an athlete, so he takes forever to scout. Can't wait to watch 40 hours of college basketball. I normally get excited for March Madness, but this year it's like, I don't know. Like I said, obviously just the effect of live sports and crowds not being there still. It's tough. And, you know, I can't sit here and lie and just be like, yeah, no, sports are just as great without the crowds. Like, Alright, so I think we have everybody scouted out now that we wanted. We did lose out on Griffin, but that's fine. He was a bust. He went to Louisiana. I always lose out on somebody to Lafayette. Yeah, well, you're right. It has been a while. I mean, there's normally at least always one person, you know, handling the Australian representation. All right, so how many people are left on the board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3. So honestly, what we do is we leave all of these players on the board. There's 10 players. There's 7 scholarships. Yes, I have some preference in who gets what. But for the most part, it's first come, first serve. These are the 10 players that we're going to fight for the rest of this. So from now on, it's basically 6 hours per with all these dudes. So Freddie Bradley, let's talk some shit about Clemson. And again, we'll keep playing the long game here with these sways if we can. So this is interesting. We're down to crunch time. We got 10 dudes left. There's a chance we don't even lock down 10 people. There are still players out there that are interested in us that I've yet to talk to as well, that could still sign here without me talking to them. Obviously, you know, the temptation's there. The problem is I just don't know how soon we're going to get the answer from these dudes. Because, like, you'd think, like, Jeremy Richards, especially with how much shit I can talk about Tennessee, like, you would think Jeremy Richards would already be completely on board, but obviously there's a good chance he's not gonna sign here. But I mean, if I do nothing but hyping myself up instead of sways, we get a shitload of points per week. Alright, Mr. Richards, we got an A, an A+, and an A. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Mr. Harrington, 6 weeks for you. Now, it is true that I don't necessarily need this dude as a wide receiver, but hey. I mean, again, at the very least, if it means I get him away from somebody else, then so be it. So I'm not even sure how many defensive players are out there that I could talk to this late into the process. Battling Tennessee, good luck. I hear on visits they give out McDonald's bags full of money. I mean, that's just a smart move. Again, we've talked about that. I want a seedy underbelly NCAA game. Would obviously never be licensed, but I want the ability to pay players under the table. Kevin Bird, the Birdman, going for nothing but sways here. Monessen, Pennsylvania. Let's see. Keep seeing what we can find here. Unfortunately, Notre Dame would give us a little bit of a problem if they were to go full sail for that guy. Nate Pollard, I'm trying desperately to fend off Bama. Desperately trying to fend off Bama here. Especially because I can't really do that much trash talking. Because it's Bama, so how could I? I'd like to think Notre Dame is screwed, which means he'll probably sign there. I still feel really good about our overall team depth, though. John Johnson. Yes! Let's go! We got into first place for him, and he said, fuck yeah, I'm going here, not the Boise State. Let's go. 4 stars, 79 overall corner, John Johnson. That was not a challenging negotiation at all. Look at the speed. Look at the coverage options. John Johnson. Whew. I am very happy with that. Let's fucking go. That's a huge pickup. He was a very, very recent recruit that we started talking to. So that's huge because so often we have horrible luck of players in this 5-week span just not committing. So 96B is a true freshman. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Maybe the team making a football revamp can spin off about paying recruits. That would be sweet. Again, I only wish the interest in college football revamped was for this game and not 14, because again, this recruitment is tremendous. Let's see, 3 dudes left. Donnie Torres, would you like to commit? Apparently not. So again, we have 6 scholarships left, 9 players. It is first come, first serve. I'm not going to take out any of the wide receivers because there's no guarantees that, you know, they would still sign here. Like the dudes that we take the wide receivers off the board for, there's no guarantees that those guys sign here, so I only care about getting the best players possible. Patrick King, let's shit talk Southern Miss. They did lose the national title to Texas after all. And nobody likes a loser. Loser. John Johnson and Vinnie Vincent. That's a great, right? Forgot about that. We do have John Johnson and now Vincent Vincent as well. We're just missing an Andrew Andrews. And everything is good to go. Beautiful stuff. I'm very, very optimistic about how this is all coming together. Sean Campbell will shit talk FSU. Again, just go for the sways. We will play the long game heading into the final week. Stick to the strategy. Recruiting 14 sucks. Yeah. Like I said, I miss not getting able to, not being able to play revamped. Kind of sucks, but we've had that conversation a lot. Gameplay for 14. But if you care about this mode, 13's the way to go. Alright, let me take a look, because again, it's 6 scholarships left. Now, that doesn't mean that I have to offer these people scholarships, but who's interested? And unfortunately, a lot of these guys aren't. But we are in first for John Atkinson, so I'm going to add him to the board. I think I previously offered him and Robinson scholarships. And then we have a bunch of 3-star dudes that have interest, but I just haven't offered them scholarships. I sort by interest. Is that the best idea? Alright, let's add Keith Holland to the list. Why not? I am going to avoid the wide receivers here. Seems like a good idea. Defensive end, Andre Woods. Corner, Tony Johnson. And And then these two defensive tackles, Scott Clay and Marvin Harper. Again, we won't offer them scholarships, but just trying to sell them on the program could be a decent way to go. Robinson's on a soft commit. So to be honest, it's these dudes that I've never talked to. Let's go for Harper first. Let's just schedule you for a visit this week. Why the hell not? And then we'll just go shot in the dark, right? We know nothing about him. But we have a couple of A's here, and we'll hope for the best. Same thing for Scott Clay. He's not ready for a visit, but I'll sell him on the proximity to home just to get some points on the board. Tony Johnson. Playing style, I'll just sell him on it to see what happens. It's not a big win for him. Andre Woods. Sell him on proximity to home. That's huge. And then we got 10 minutes left. Let's go to Holland. I don't think I've talked to him at all yet. And again, same thing. We'll get him for a visit this week and just hope for the best. You have a love-hate relationship with 14. You're not the first person to mention that, so it doesn't surprise me. Let's see. Harper, screw it. Let's scout you out for 30 minutes. Hello, potential gem. All right. You might have just fallen into our laps here. Let's move on to week 2. 6 scholarships, or week 3, I should say. 6 scholarships left. 3 more sessions before signing day. Now you see why we switched early. Now you see. All right. See if we lock anybody down here. Will we? Hey, it's like our school's close to a place where you were born. Come here. Holy shit, John Johnson signs. Torres, of course. Harrington, Richards, Bradley, and Campbell. I think we're out of scholarships. Holy hell. 2 wide receivers, 2 defensive end options, a guard, and a corner. I think we're out before signing day. Holy hell. We have 1 scholarship left. That is the least amount of scholarships we've ever had before signing day. We are the 2nd best recruitment class in the nation, behind Auburn, who have 6 5-stars. We don't have a single 5-star this year, but just a crazy amount of depth. 1 scholarship left. And it looks like I fucking knew Alabama was going to sweep in for Pollard. I fucking knew it. Honestly, we could rescind, and Robinson did go to Auburn. So I had a feeling Pollard was going to sneak away to Bama. To be honest, I'm going to pull his scholarship. He could still sign here, but I'm going to pull his scholarship offer. That leaves us with, I'm pretty sure, just these top 3. Atkinson I had already talked to. It's between these 2. It's between King and Bennett. And to be honest, I don't really care which one signs first. It's completely up to them. So aside from that, then, pretty much all we can do now is go after the dudes that have interest in us and try to get them to come here without offering them a scholarship offer. So Trey Bennett does not make it official. So we'll continue to work on him heading into the final week. We'll see if he signs. So the fact that we're going to be down to 1 scholarship already is just great, to be honest. So John Atkinson, let's finish scouting you out. We had him on the board before. He's a gem. It's up to a 78. Was it because of GameStop? I originally thought I had the case on the shelf. I haven't paid for the game. I don't actually have it. I had that exact same situation happen before. They have the case on the shelf, but then they don't actually have the game. I 1000% had that happen before. That was the GameStop experience, I'm telling you. Yeah, see, I knew I couldn't offer him a scholarship again. Damn. Alright, Mr. Atkinson. Guess we'll see what happens with you. And, just sell you on these A's and see what happens. Let's see, Mr. King. Patty King, do you want to sign here? Apparently not immediately. And we'll shit talk Southern Miss. Honestly, these top three are pretty much set. Let's go for the sway there. So heading into the final week, I can sell him on a lot. So from there... Aw, man, Bird's gonna go to frickin' Notre Dame out of nowhere. Let's just remove Kevin Bird then. Fair enough. Keith Holland, how good are you? Not too bad. No reason to at least not fight for him. Except actually... Where's the interest? We completely dropped out of his interest range. Interesting. Alright, I'll just remove him then. For some reason, he just decided to completely drop his interest in signing here. What about Andre Woods? Still up there for that guy again. We don't have a scholarship we can offer him, but we can try to sell him on the school. I've only managed to override one soft commit. Right, which is exactly why I'm not even going to bother. So, Elite Goat Unit, what is up? I mean, again, that was a kind of a thought, right? Is should I stay in the fight for some of these dudes or just give up and go after the guys who want to be here? And to be honest, I think it's best to just give up that fight and go after the people who want to be here. Yes, it led to us having a lot more 3-stars this year, but I don't view that necessarily as an issue because a lot of those guys, even if they're only useful for 1 year, you know, it could end up being a big deal for us that they are at least useful for that season. So, fix my sleep schedule and tonight's ruined again. That's been happening to me a lot too, buddy. So, I feel your pain. Tonight's probably going to be one of those nights too, where again, it's like, okay, can I end my stream on time and try to get to bed at a half-decent time? Half-decent for me, at least. Alright, so we got 7 hours left. We definitely have dudes on the board, or at least prospects that'll be interested that we can fight for, that again, I'm not exactly worried about giving them scholarship offers. So we look at these 3-stars, and these are the guys that we're interested in. So, I mean, we're talking about Mathis. We're talking about Castillo. I'm going to leave the wideouts. We're talking about Bobby Harris. We're talking about this corner and Clay Shaw. A lot of 3-stars that have interest in this school. It's just, can we get them? Could copy a 2K10. The gameplay is amazing. It's something. It is something. I'm telling you, man, there's just something about that game. I never really planned on, like, hey, that's the game that, like, people are going to be like, hey, Tuki said this was good, and I'm going to check it out. It's just, you know, it's kind of how it's just worked out. Alright, so we're going off of, you know, this interest on blind faith. Just shit talk Penn State where we can, and sell them otherwise. And, I mean, we made up a good amount of ground without offering him any promises or anything like that. We'll get him on a visit this week. Just do what we can there. Mr. Terrence Castillo. Let's see what we can do for you. Again, it's the same thing. Shit talk Fresno where I can. Otherwise, just sell him on what we have. Not going to offer him any promises. Not going to offer him a scholarship. It's just, can we get this dude to sign? You know, hopes and dreams kind of thing. And that'll be the key. So, were there any Kitchener kids on the board? I didn't look. That's the unfortunate thing about Canada. Out of those early stages here, you kind of put yourself at a disadvantage if you want to continue to try and scout out Canada. Every once in a while, there'll be a good Canadian, and obviously we'll really go for those players if they show up. But yeah, for the most part, it's been just look for the best options we can get. How the hell is UConn so competitive with us? Alright, let's see. And then the final scouting session is with Clay Shaw. And again, we'll get him on a visit for this week. Should talk USC really quickly. Never played 2K10. It is a hell of a game. I mean, I know there are some people who think I overhype it. But again, for me, it's like, I genuinely think that 2K in that year crushed it. Like NBA 2K10 with Kobe on the cover too was amazing. I love that game. 2K did a hell of a job that year, for sure. And yeah, it's just one of those things now where, you know, it is a matter, I'd say, of making that game your own, you know? Like, obviously, I mess with the sliders a lot, too, to get the gameplay to where I want it, but you have some people saying, like, man, it looks good, but it's a little bit slow, and it's like, well, it's just because of the slider, so. Before signing day, check to see if there's a kitchen kid. I'll try to remember. Well, we have our final scholarship accepted. We have one left, heading into the penultimate week. This is the least stressful it's ever been for us in terms of scouting, because it's basically done already, thank God, or in terms of recruitment. Now we just ride it out to see who accepts. That's pretty much all we're looking at. I am excited for what this team could look like. I'm always worried about position changes. Bennett is the man. Trey Bennett accepts our final scholarship offer, the 4-star defensive lineman, 6'7". Trey Bennett gets our final scholarship. We are 25 out of 25 before the final week. So we're done. We can still get other dudes. Right now we're down to the 3rd, but still, that's incredible for us. We are now a 5-star prestige program. It's incredible what we've done here. We're equal to Auburn right now. It is incredible what we've done here. And let's see if we can hype up anybody else last second to lock them down without obviously having anything. So Shaw, out of nowhere, is pretty much going to go to USC, so we'll back out for him. Look at all these players, though. Fantastic. Big help for the O-line. Great help for the special teams. I'm so excited for what this team's going to be this year. So out of these players, then, Patrick King's going to choose to think that I don't exist. Same thing for Scott Clay. Out of nowhere, he's just going to bounce. I think for some of these guys, once they talk to you and you don't offer them a scholarship, they're just like, well, fuck you then. And it's like, I respect that. But we are in first for all these other dudes, which means I can add 5 more dudes to the books. To the books. Let's see who we can get. So again, we will... Alright, so we're down to a much shorter list here. Let's add Carlos Ford. Jeff Harvey. If you're a wrestling fan, you understand. Jeff Harvey. Travis Tidwell. We'll also add Kyler Daniels and Eric Richardson. I mean, even these dudes I'll talk to if I have to. AJ, I knew you'd be one who would appreciate Jeff Harvey. Jeff Harvey. Richardson's already on a soft commit to the U. Or not to the U, but Miami University. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect, 10 people. So we'll do 10 hours per. Or 10 hours per. The maximum offer. Again, I can't offer Josh Atkinson a scholarship, but we can just try to sell him. Adamley's just... I hope Mike Adamley's doing well, by the way. Last I heard, unfortunately, he was in poor health due to, honestly, I think dementia concerns, because a lot of people don't realize, like, hey, Mike Adamley was actually, like, in the NFL. So, yeah, I hope Mike Adamley's doing well. I don't believe I heard news of, like, a passing or anything there, so... Got a Matt Harvey to commit, and then you got the Harvey boys. Oh, shit. Andre Woods, let's scout you out really quickly. You're not going to be a gem, but that's not bad. Let's talk to you. Also, I mean, if I can screw over fucking UConn, then I'm going to do it. Let's get him on a visit this week. Again, I don't have any scholarships to offer, and I'm not going to make him any promises. I really don't need to make promises for players that I desperately don't need. So, you can visit. I can shit-talk UConn and sell you on what we can do for you. But aside from that, it's up to you if you want to come here. It's just a kind of a walk-on, essentially. Richardson. Yeah, I'm going to be out on Richardson. Let's go ahead and remove Eric. I'm going to have one other dude I got to add. Mr. Carlos Ford. Let's talk to you. And trash talk Southern Miss. Like, I get it. You're a 3-star option, and a team that just went to the national title game is showing interest. But also, have you considered that they need to fuck off, and you should come here instead? So what happens if you offer a scholarship but you don't have any left? I'm pretty sure it just tells you can't. I'm not going to bother, because if it accidentally like wastes an hour or something, that wouldn't be worth it to me. But alright, and we might as well scout you out as well. Get rid of more time off the board. And you're nothing special, but I wouldn't mind having the depth option. Mr. Harper. Already had his visit. Chautauqua, Utah. Let's go ahead and do that. The academic prestige. Do that too. Whole lot of shit talk in Utah. Hurts my soul a little bit. We'll never forget our Utah Pioneers in Madden. Oh, God. Tidwell, let's talk to you. You've already visited. Again, I'm not going to bother like researching anything about these guys. It's if I can talk shit, then I talk shit, and if not, we make the pitch. Wasn't the Hardy Brothers. See, this is why I said if you know, you know. But to explain the joke, there is an infamous clip where Mike Adamle of NFL fame was brought into the WWE, which was a horrible idea, and they put him in a position where he wasn't exactly going to succeed as an interviewer, and he called Jeff Hardy Jeff Harvey, and it's lived in infamy even 13 years later. That's one of the greatest things to ever happen. So we love Mike Adamle around these parts. I will not take anything, any shtick. Any Adamle hate. Let's see, Tony Johnson. So yeah, I mean, obviously right now there's no guarantee that any of these dudes decide to just be a walk-on, you know, without the scholarship, but hey, we gotta try it. We gotta try it. I mean, especially too, like if it screws up, you know, a team like Navy, who are always good in Dynasty mode. I don't know why, but Navy's always great in this mode. If it screws a team like them over, so be it. See, Kyler Daniels, it's unlikely. From Bastrop, Louisiana. Drop of the bass. Slap of the fish. Make it a pitch. Look at Oregon with no academic prestige. Unfortunately, a lot of this guy's interests don't really line up with what we're doing. Again, not making any promises to these guys, nothing. We're out of scholarships. These dudes would just be a bonus. Jeff Harvey, scholarship, promises immediately. Let's be honest, you don't want to go to Wyoming. Who the hell wants to go? I want to go to Wyoming. I want to explore Wyoming. There's nothing to explore, but I want to explore Wyoming. Navy runs a triple option. I have no idea. In terms of like what schemes and playbooks these teams run in this game, I can never remember for the life of me. So, if you think it might be the triple option, I would probably take your instinct for it. Ah, Marvin Harper, so close to a gem. Let's go add one other dude. One other dude. Man, talk about games I don't have time to play. I fucking miss Fire Emblem. What a game. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's like there's all these sports games I want to play, but I still want to go and play like the other games too, and I miss something like Fire Emblem. Shout out to Dedu. I'm gonna have to play through that again at some point. Maple Shade, New Jersey. Maple Shade. Nobody else is interested in you, so I can just sit here and make the pitches. And then while we're loading into the next week, I need to look at Maple Shade. No one bring up any of the games Pyro wants me to play. I mean, I owe people some games, for sure. And they will happen. At least I hope. Maple Shade, New Jersey. Alright, we are good for the week. Alright, so we head to week 5. Again, we are out of scholarships. It's just a matter of who else signs. And in the meantime, we're going to look up Maple Shade. Good old Maple Shade. Burlington County, 19,000 population. Is there anybody famous from Mapleshade? It's in the Northwest. Notable people. George Barbour. I know it's Barber. Christian music, the Delphonics. Professional. Who? Billy Darnell. That's a name I actually don't recognize. Because he retired in 1961. Jesus. Let's see. John Tartaglia. Puppeteer. Well, that's how you know it's going well as a puppeteer. When they don't even have your picture on the thing. Sorry, John. Alright, we head to this final week. Let's see what we can do. Our last bit of effort. Oh boy, and we just dropped a 10th in interest for fucking everybody. Alright, so without the scholarship offers, people are like, hey, fuck off. So I think we're good. We're done. We've done everything we can do. We are set up to begin the process to really head into next season. We go to signing day with absolutely no controversy or anticipation because, again, we're done. Our recruits are set. There is nothing we can do. Oh, boy. Alright. I think Army plays the same way. Fair enough. Alright. Well, I'm excited for this. Crack the knuckles. Get ready to fight. Because it's a process as always. I'm intrigued to see if we stay in the top 5 for recruitment classes, though. I don't know if we will, but I hope we do. I hope we do. Which conference do you have in mind? I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I mean, the ACC is probably going to win, though. So we finished with a top 6 recruitment class, despite the fact we didn't finish with a single 5-star option. We were the highest program to finish without a 5-star option, just above Tejas. So not bad. Not bad at all. Like, we are consistently in the top 10. And I mean, above us, it's like all 99 rated teams, too, so we're in the cream of the crop. We are indeed. Not bad at all. I think the Big East. I mean, again, we want it to make geographic sense, too, if it can. We'll figure it out. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because for now, we get to focus on the joys of player position changes. And by the joys, I mean the struggle. And this is what I wanted to make sure I had time for tonight. So again, we don't know how much some of these players are going to improve. Just a look, Darryl Grant, clearly a quarterback. We have Grant. That is obvious. At quarterback, now see, Will Cox is somebody else who could be moved around for this year and then move him back to quarterback for next year. No, we still haven't moved conference, but we have a chance to do so. And will be doing so very soon. So he's an 87 quarterback, an 81 running back. Let's be honest, he'll probably stay at quarterback, but it's at least worth taking a look. Antoine Gonzalez, very clearly a quarterback. Although, well, you know, you say that. You say that. I think with Gonzalez, you're talking 82 quarterback or like a 71 safety on average. We need a depth there. Probably won't move him, but just saying it's a possibility. Derek Good. Somebody else who could move around a lot. So again, a 79 quarterback, but a 78 running back. A 70 wide receiver. He definitely won't move to wide out, but it's at least worth marking that down. And then the freshman, Stephen Heinz, the 3-star recruit. It's weird because it says he picked Navy, but whatever, he's here. He can only play quarterback. Cool. So far, quarterback for sure, it's Grant and Heinz. And the 3 are likely to stay, I would say. Really quickly with the athletes. We didn't bring in any athletes this year. It's cool. Running back. So I think it's fairly obvious Tony Bright's going to stay. 77 rated quarterback, but a 90 rated running back. I think, honestly, because of the lack of options, we're probably best to just keep people in their highest rated position. It's kind of a tough call. I mean, Bright's definitely not moving to quarterback or wideout. There's just too much. There's too much there. So Bright stays as our running back. And again, you could argue we don't really need the help at wideout. Maybe the help at running back, so maybe move Good over. But then again, Newton's there. And he's already been redshirt. So I think we have our answer with our quarterbacks. And I honestly think that Cox, Gonzalez, and Good all stay at quarterback. I think we have our answer there, at least for this season. It makes the most sense, and obviously we can dish out some red shirts. But that definitely makes the most sense for us. And then Newton, I mean, a 77 wideout, but clearly best at running back. He'll be a 1-2 punch with Bright. Charles Hall, I think clearly best at running back as well. Redshirt freshman last year. And then John Talley is just a depth option. But again, I mean, he's not bad as a third string option if we want to. I mean, the three guys ahead of him have all been redshirted last year, so they got to play. So we'll just leave Talley there. That's fine. Fullback-wise, of course, James Smith is there, as is Vinnie Vincent. Smith can move around, though. There's no reason to not have Vinnie Vincent as our fullback now for 4 years. So James Smith is the guy who can pretty much move around wherever the hell we need him. So fullback, we'll say that we have Vincent. But for the athletes, we got Smith as an 82 running back. There's a spot there for him. He's a 76 fullback, a 78 wide receiver, and a 74 tight end. So James Smith is a very versatile player. I'm going to move from the punter for the moment. Again, Vinnie Vincent's locked in. Wide receivers. Holy shit. There might be some cuts here. Tyler, 83 running back. Interesting. I mean, he's our top wideout, though. You can't move him elsewhere. I mean, he wouldn't even be the starting running back. So he stays. Travis Walker, looks like he's staying as well. The majority of these guys will stay. They weren't athletes when they were recruited. Steve Clifford, new recruit, definitely a wide receiver. Now you look at Smith, who's a 78 wideout, and these guys are going to get better. There's no way Smith plays wideout. I don't think there's any way he plays fullback. So he's looking at halfback or tight end. Let's see, Kellen Scott, same thing. Looks like a wide receiver. The good thing is, again, we're just going to be able to take the best of the best and keep them on the team. We get rid of the rest. Dusty Thompson, definitely a wide receiver as well. Perfect. Freshman William Stevens, not the worst running back in the world. He wouldn't play at all, though. I suppose with Stevens, you can make the argument. 78 wide out, 76 running back. We'll think about where to put him. David Fountain had himself a big playoff. 78 wide receiver is where he will stay. Let's see, the freshman, Sean Campbell. 77 rated now. He stays. And we did end up with a lot of wide receivers. Josh Whitaker, who was redshirt last year. He stays. David Justice, about equally as good at running back. So he's somebody else who could be moved if we had to move somebody. Justice, 75 running back, 76 wide receiver. Move him over to punter for the moment. Todd White. A little bit better wide receiver than running back. Let's see, Todd White. J.J. Harrington. Equally as good at running back as he is at wide receiver. So again, somebody else where we're just going to have to kind of see where the pieces fall into place for proper depth on this team. So last guy is Woods, who is significantly better at running back. Like, there's no denying. If he stays on the team, he's 6 overall points better. So Woods would definitely be moved to running back. Interesting. So we got 4 dudes right now who it's going to be, you know, one position or the other. Tight end wise, I mean, Mcrae is a beast of a fullback, but obviously I'd rather have him be a beast of a tight end. He's also really good on the O-line, but let's be honest, we don't need him on the O-line anymore. And we don't need an 85 fullback. So Mcrae at tight end makes a lot of sense. Darryl Holt as well. I mean, we're not going to redshirt Mcrae. It would be nice to redshirt Mcrae, but he and Holt as a dual threat would be pretty good. Holt's another one of those guys, though, where he can play wherever. Damn. 84 running back. I mean, an 82 fullback. 84 wide receiver. 84 tight end. Okay, we're not going to need Mcrae because we have the depth. I don't know what the hell to do with Darryl Holt. Mcrae definitely stays. His best position is the O-line. Again, we're not going to need the help there. And fullback, which really isn't as important. Jamie Gonzalez. I mean, as a tight end or a fullback as well. And again, it makes sense probably to leave him at tight end. So we will leave Gonzalez there. And then Michael Morgan is a better wide receiver than tight end. Which means it's probably for the best to move on from Morgan. So tight end wise, we're looking at Smith at fullback to move him over. And we're also looking at leaving Holt there. But Holt could be our second highest rated wide receiver. And I don't think we can turn that down because we got a lot of sophomores who are about to, you know, pop on the red shirts here. I think we're good to move Michael Morgan for the moment over to wide receiver. So I need at least one other dude to join here, and so far it's Stevens or Holt, and I think it should be Stevens. Now, Stevens is an 82 running back, but he's going to be third string at best, so I don't think we need him. So let's go back over to punter. Let's look at Mr. James Smith. And you, sir, get to compete. I mean, honestly, your third string running back or your third string tight end? That's kind of what we're looking at here, now that I realize it. I guess we'd rather have Smith be the running back, now that I think about it. And then move Morgan back over to tight end since he's not, like, brutal there. Yeah, let's move Smith to running back. He can be the third string option. Let's move Smith over to running back. Stevens, it's wide receiver or running back. It might as well be wide receiver. Justice as well. It'll also be wide receiver. We're going to have a shitload of wideouts. A shitload. Harrington, it doesn't matter. Just put him at wideout. And Holt as well. You're going to be our second best wide receiver this upcoming season. So we do have the need to move one person over to tight end from wide receiver. But aside from that, Yeah, we're good at running back now. We're definitely going to be good at wide receiver. Yeah, having Holt there is going to be great. I mean, it's a senior year, too. So the dude to move over to tight end would just be Morgan, who we had moved over to begin with. He's a 67. I wanted to see if there were other dudes who might be decent at tight end. Let's just move Morgan over. Like, that's pretty much a guarantee to move him back. Is there anybody else who is half decent at tight end who's not that good? Because otherwise, we are cutting some people. That's all I can say. Looks like for the most part, we're going to be cutting some people and redshirting a lot of people. Yeah, okay. So, we have that sorted then. So, quarterback, obviously Grant, Cox, Gonzalez, Good, and Heinz. We don't know how many of these dudes will stick around, but we'll give it a shot. 97 speed tight end, you know you want to. You're not wrong. I desperately want to. But it is what it is. And again, wide receiver now, it's just an embarrassment of riches where it's just, okay, who stays? So, for the O-line, we'll have to do the same thing we always do. Just move everybody over to center. And see who fits in the best, because we did lose an option or two here. And Montgomery, I hate that it's Robert Montgomery's senior year already. Like Bates. One of the big questions is going to be how aggressive do we be in terms of redshirting certain players and risking them leaving. Okay. So Mcrae drops by 2 or 3. Montgomery drops by 2 or 3. Smith drops by 3 to tackle. Nelson drops by 2. Davis drops by 2. So for the most part, these guys can play pretty much anywhere I need them to. Every single one of these offensive linemen looks incredibly versatile for the most part, except for Josh Andrews. So Andrews definitely stays at center. Everybody above him can play wherever. We're going to have an absurd amount of depth. An absurd amount of depth. Like Mcrae and Montgomery, we can't have sit. They're going to be way too good. So then you get an 87 at guard. 87 at guard. Smith drops by 3 to move him to tackle. I think we have our answer here. So Corey Mcrae will be left guard. Robert Montgomery will be right guard. We'll have Derek Smith at left tackle and Preston Nelson at right tackle. Leaving dangerous Danny Davis at center. We'll move Foster to left tackle. Harris to left guard. Soule to right tackle. Bates to right guard. So our center depth will be Davis and Andrews then. Also, now Terrence Bell is going to stay at center. Dan Miller, probably best to set you up as a tackle. And Bell stays. We have a ton of O-linemen. Harvey will move to right tackle. Richards, probably best to stay at center. Stanley, move you to tackle. Antoine Lee, move you to guard. Jeff Lyles, move you to tackle. So we have now an absurd amount of depth on the O-line. Really. We really do. I'm incredibly excited about that. So the offense is looking set. I mean, again, 3 tight ends. You could argue the risk of that, but... And not to mention, again, we still haven't seen the overall improvements for the dudes who are already here. Now, defensively is where it gets a little bit tough. Because, of course, you have dudes who can play in multiple spots. And that's where it gets to be a pain in the ass. And, of course, we just lost 3 members of this defense. So really quickly, let's sort out the kicker-punter situation. So I think it's fairly obvious. Clint Wilkinson, Daryl Hand, they're both getting cut. Because we have Scott and Robinson here now, which I'm very excited about. Robinson has really good speed, so we might want to prioritize him as the kicker, because he could get downfield and maybe make something happen. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Big-time kick power to Robinson. Tremendous accuracy for Scott, though. I think Robinson is the punter, because obviously we want him to be able to boot it downfield a little bit further. But you could talk about Scott, too. Let's move Robinson over to punter. And again, Wilkinson and Hand are screwed. You boys served us well, I guess. So for the secondary here, then, and again, the defense is always a problem because so many people can play in so many different spots. We'll start off with Burgess, who is, I mean, a pretty damn good option. 79 defensive end. What was that? 81? 81 DT. I mean, he's got what, essentially a 73 at linebacker. Can't play the secondary. It's kind of a tough call. I don't think there's like an automatic win there for him. Donnie Torres, clearly better on the D-line than anything else. So defensive line, we'll definitely have Torres. We'll see about Burgess. Marcus Bowser, probably on the D-line as well. He's not a horrible linebacker, but keep him on the D-line. Right edge, Zach Weeks. Good for both. It really does depend on who we have at linebacker. So, I mean, 82 on the D-line, on roughly the average, and about a 76 at linebacker. For Mr. Weeks, Aaron Sanders. Not a horrible linebacker, but better to have on the D-line, I would say, for Sanders. Trey Bennett, new recruits. Better to have on the D-line than at linebacker. Again, he was the last recipient of a scholarship for us. Freddie Bradley, same thing. Better on the line. And then Ronnie Marshall, same thing. Alright, cool. So for the most part, this decision's being made pretty easily. Dickens, though, I mean, he's going to be a great defensive tackle or wherever the hell we put him on the line. But there's no denying that he could be a decent linebacker for us, too. Like, it wouldn't be as high of a rating, but sometimes the rating isn't everything. Berg is definitely not a linebacker. Definitely wouldn't be in the secondary. No. Michael Walker. Definitely on the defensive line. And then Michael... Wait, do we have Michael Walker and Michael Parker? Okay. He's definitely on the defensive line, too. It's Walker and Parker. So, by default, that leaves us with 9 players. We're going to need more than that. The linebackers, Eric Bailey. Same thing. Same thing. Somebody who... I mean, Jesus Christ. Eric Bailey can literally play anywhere. He can literally play anywhere. This dude is a freak. Thank God we convinced him to stay. My God. Like an 87 on average on the D-line. Like an 89 on average at linebacker. And again, at safety, he's like an 86. Like, this dude is a freak. Rory Harrington. Honestly, Harrington... See, this is the issue with these linebackers and the dudes that we've brought in. It's why it's so difficult. Like, you look at the overalls, and it's like, okay, cool, where are we going to play them? And then it's like, okay, do I break it down by stats more than anything? 77 on the defensive line. About a 70 at safety, we'll say. Clint Gordon. I can't believe he's a junior now. Again, an absolute freak on the defensive line. Good Lord. See now why we need a goddamn Word document for this every time. He's a freak as a linebacker. He's a freak at safety as well. Jesus. What am I going to do with these guys? Robert Mason. is incredible on the D-line. Can't play the secondary. But he might have to play linebacker out of necessity. About a 77 on average on the D-line, unless he plays tackle. Again, about a 73 at linebacker. And on the right, Adam Wade. Same thing. Freak on the D-line. Good lord. Now you see why we ended 2K10 earlier tonight. 87 linebacker. It's about a 79.5 at safety. Leon Jones. Basically, we're just going to have to sort out who's the best of the best. About a 79 on the D-line, about a 76 at linebacker, and a 72 at safety. Probably won't be needed there. Chris Lawrence. Same thing. Where does this guy play? We don't know. 67 on the D-line, about a 66 at linebacker. I mean, he's just pure depth. And then Brian Williams. Is about a 65 on the D-line, about a 63 at linebacker. Can't really play the secondary. So then we get to the secondary. And of course, we've developed Wade Guerrero as a secondary option to the point where he's not even really a threat at wide receiver anymore. So again, linebacker, I don't have a single confirmation. And then defensive back, we definitely have Guerrero. Stephen Bolden. Definitely going to play in the secondary. So the secondary will be a little bit easier than who plays at linebacker. Robertson. If they're not playing him offensively, Robertson stays in the secondary. Brian Bullock. Same thing. He stays. Ivan Sims, how the hell are you a senior already? I mean, you've never really been a starter, but Jesus. Alright, Sims is in the secondary. John Johnson. Not the worst linebacker in the world, but definitely somebody that you want in the secondary. Dallas Jackson. Definitely a secondary option. Tony Black. Yeah, I don't think he's moving anywhere else. He might get red-shirted, to be honest, or cut. He was already red-shirt, so. And then Corey Burton. Definitely staying in the secondary. It's the safeties that are more likely to move anyway, to linebacker. So let's see, Wendell Justice. Only a 72. Not a bad quarterback, not even a bad wide receiver, but definitely set up as a safety. Had the clutch interception that won us a game against UConn. Chris Boyd, surprisingly as well. I mean, this dude's an 81 rated running back, but let's be honest. You are staying in the secondary. Rory Griffin. Rory Griffin could honestly be moved to a number of different spots. Now, wide receiver would be overload. Griffin is the guy who can play pretty much anywhere. So about a 64 on the D-line, about a 63 at linebacker, or about a 65 as defensive back. On the other side, Johnny Goodman. Oh boy, definitely a defensive option. Another guy who could play wide receiver, we just don't need him there. Definitely wouldn't be a defensive option. We're pretty much stacked there, but Goodman is a 74 linebacker, like an 84 defensive back. So I mean, it's pretty clear where he's going to play. Clint Long stays in the secondary. Alright, so we are pretty much good in terms of how to sort this out. So secondary right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 options there. So pretty much then anybody that can play linebacker effectively should play linebacker effectively. Might just have to base it off of the ratings. It's going to be tough. So I think, and just to get you a look here at the old movie magic, I think we treat Burgess as a defensive lineman. Seems pretty much like the way to go. It's just better there. Same thing for Weeks. So we might be a little bit short at linebacker depth, but Dickens as well has to play there. Again, Bailey is someone who is sick pretty much anywhere. He's desperately needed at linebacker, just because of the shortages there. Like the extreme shortages there. Harrington as well. Decent on the D-line. He'll never be a starter. Play him at linebacker. Gordon gets played at linebacker. Honestly, Mason I'll probably keep on the D-line. I mean, because Harrington's only 2 point worse from linebacker to D-line. It's a 4-point drop for Mason. Wade will stay. Hill stay. Lawrence will stay. Williams will stay. I don't really know. So let's see. It's what, 8 linebackers? We might be a little bit short. Goodman definitely has to be in the secondary. I mean, I was tempted to move Johnson over. I think we pretty much have our list. We'll see how it looks in a second. Still going to have to optimize it. But yeah, it's kind of a tough call. So really quickly then it's safety. Gonna move Goodman over to corner really quickly. Long stays as well. And then here, Justice is staying in the secondary. Boyd is staying. Griffin is getting moved over to linebacker. Just for the depth of it. Again, Guerrero, Bolden, Robertson. Justice stays. Bullock. Sims, Goodman. Johnson. You got Long. You got Boyd. Jackson. Black and Burton. So then at linebacker, you got Bailey. You got Harrington. You got Gordon. Mason gets moved to the D-line. Griffin stays. Move you guys to the middle then. And then on the right is Wade, Jones, Lawrence, and Williams. I don't know if we're going to have enough linebackers. We might just have to move somebody over. It does look like we're going to have a shortage here. So, I mean, these are all the options we're looking at for the secondary. But these are the only options at linebacker. We're going to be short. So it pretty much comes down then to what the defensive line happens to look like. And again, this is always the most tedious part of the offseason, but it's the best way to handle it to get our team into the best position possible. Yes, I know I might be breaking promises, game. Thank you for keeping an eye out on me. Appreciate you, Dad. Alright, so, Chris Dickens drops by 3. Weeks only drops by 1. He'll get moved. Burgess drops by 2. Mason plummets, so we'll move Burgess over. And Sanders only drops by 2. We'll move him over. Berg plummets. He stays. Walker plummets. He stays. Bennett can move. Torres can move. Marshall can move. Bradley's good. Parker stays. Bowser moves. Alright, so we got 5 defensive tackles, which is fine. I don't hate that. I mean, Dickens is fast as hell to be running at tackle, but I mean, I don't think Mason or Berg will necessarily be good enough to be the starter this year, but obviously then they take over next year. And we can redshirt one of them to get them on alternating years. So defensive end-wise, I mean, we're looking pretty good. Any of those guys could be moved out to linebacker if need be. And then speaking of linebacker, Bailey actually goes up on the outside. Wade stays the same. Gordon is the same, so he'll stay in the middle. Jones gets moved to the outside. Harrington stays. Lawrence gets moved. Williams gets moved. Griffin gets moved. Oh boy. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to move a random edge to middle linebacker. Somebody who's not a starter. I mean, again, you could argue for Robert Mason. But we don't know what type of defense we're going to run this year. And if we run a 2 defensive tackle set, we're going to need help. Unfortunately, a lot of the linebackers we were looking at didn't pan out. Honestly, I think it's going to be one of these 75s. I mean, Bennett's 6'7", 242. 6'3", 255. Freddie Bradley, maybe? Donnie Torres is a big boy to be playing linebacker, but I think that's the way to do it. We're not really going to need him for a while. I think with that, we're good, aside from the secondary. Which, I mean, Guerrero's a beast and a half. Bolden's a beast no matter where he plays. Robertson's better at corner. Justice significantly improves. Like, Guerrero doesn't improve. Bolden doesn't improve. Justice is definitely a dude, no matter what, to play safety. Bullock.
Fanboy! The man was a
Chris,
fanboy!
Good morning to you. Thank you for the 21 months, sir. Very much appreciated. How you been? I hope you are well. Before I lose my train of thought, we're going to lose Bullock over. We're going to move Sim over. Goodman gets moved. Could move Johnson for a minute. Move Clint Long. Move Boyd over. And then just see who's worth moving back. So these are, I mean, it sucks too that they're all seniors, but these are the 3 main corners. No doubt about it. 3 pillars at corner. So then at safety, Justice is an 85 on the other side. Goodman's an 84. Bullock drops. I think we got our guys, right? It's going to be Justice and Goodman at safety. No denying that. So I know Justice drops by 4. Goodman only drops by 1. So who else drops? He's down by 4. He's down by 2. Johnson's down by 2. Sims down by 3. All right, Long, congratulations. You're the backup. Strong safety behind John Goodman. Bullock drops by 4 or drops by 1. Johnson drops by 2 no matter what. Sims is pretty much good no matter where you play him, so we'll move him over to corner. Boyd drops heavily no matter what. Boyd should be a strong safety, which means he can be the secondary option. Honestly, I think I'd want to try to develop Johnson since he drops by 4. After he drops by 4, let's move Johnson over there. Let's move Bullock to corner. And that way there's competition there. Like, we're set at safety for the next few years. Like, it's Goodman this year, and then Long takes over for, like, 2 years after, and then it's John Johnson, unless we get somebody better. So it's very nice to have that straight-up game plan in terms of, like, okay, this is where we're going with this. How many dudes do we have at corner now? 5, so we gotta get some depth options over there. So Jackson... Honestly, the height goes to Black. I think he should be the other depth option here. Let's move Dallas Jackson to corner. Let's move Corey Burton back over. I think we're good. And I think this team is sick. Quarterback, we are stacked for now. Running back, we're golden. Again, there are going to have to be some cuts and some red shirts, especially at wide receiver, where we did go a little bit crazy, but it's just who happened to be available to keep us as a top recruitment class. This O-line, there's opportunities for red shirts as long as they don't, destroy the team. Again, right now there is a concern about our depth at linebacker, but with our starters, we're looking great. a shame Bullock's already been redshirted. Sims will just go down as a depth player. I mean, Johnson I did have listed as somebody who could play linebacker. We could try to mold him to that, but I genuinely think molding him to our future safety is good. Chris, all good. I'm doing well. The time change has definitely screwed me up. Shout out to Daylight Savings. I think we're good. Let's make those changes. This team is set. I don't know if we'll get to the point because it's getting late already. It's amazing how that happens. We'll see how far into this offseason we get. We get our training results next. Again, that's the one thing I love about this team, and kind of about the game in general, but there's always so many versatile options. So we get our training results. Darryl Grant is a 92, and then next year, already a 91, Will Cox will be our starter for his senior year. You got Gonzalez behind them, and Derek Good as well, who will get redshirted this year. It's incredible to see the path. Grant senior year, and then Will Cox takes over. Craziness. Running back, Tony Bright's a 94. Paul Newton's a 91. He'll be our starter next year. And James Smith, who was a fullback, is now an 86 rated running back. He'll be the 1-2 punch with Newton next year. Fullback, no improvement. Wideouts, Marcus Tyler as a junior is now a 92. Hold at an 87. Yeah, I know, Chris, in terms of the time change. I don't know if I said the time change screwed you up. I'm saying it screwed me up heavily. You got Holden at an 87, Walker at an 85. I mean, look at this goddamn team. It is an embarrassment of riches right now. Crazy. Tight end, Mcrae is a 91. Gonzalez an 82, so he's the guy right behind him. On the O-line, Smith and Foster are both great. Mcrae is unbelievable. And Saint, I'm guessing it's Breezes. Appreciate that host, man. How's it going? Welcome to hoping that this team doesn't completely fail to live up to their potential because it's a hell of a squad. Daniel, appreciate those emails. Appreciate that follow as well. What's going on, dude? How are you? This is good to see you. I presume it was NCAA 14 on the agenda. It's my presumption. Let's keep seeing what else we got here for player improvements here. Just won the SEC championship on Revamped. I had a feeling. Congratulations on that. This team finally managed to win a four-team conference. Can you believe it? 4 teams! And we were finally the best. All it took was us to be a 99 overall to beat 77 rated UConn in the sim. It's kind of an indictment on EA, but it is what it is there. All Pro Sports Network, thank you for the follow as well. But we just got done, for the most part, with a pretty ridiculous recruitment class. Again, 6th in the nation. Without a 5-star recruit this year, which I'm pretty happy about. Alabama's now a triple option with all of their 99 overall players. Jesus. Better use that sounds awful. To face at least. I mean, in terms of the team build, that just sounds disgusting. And I'm going to have to check out a VOD if it's available. That sounds like a nightmare to play against. This is my one loss all season. Damn. So it was a nightmare to play against. I can't get over some of these improvements. Davis Bell, Andrews gets to get redshirted this year. Montgomery's a monster. I don't want to say that we can compete for a national title this year, but it might be possible. And it's mainly because of this O-line. Holy hell, dude. Defensively, so we lost a 92 rated player, I believe, but we now have an 86 in Zach Weeks. Sanders behind him. Burgess is only up to an 82, so the defensive line took a little bit of a hit. Some good improvement for the guys under him. Dickens is a monster. I don't know what type of defensive scheme we're going to run this year, but 4-3 could work because of Dickens and Mason. Linebacker, Bailey at a 93. Unreal. Clint Gordon in the 90, and he's only a junior. And then a 91 for junior Adam Wade. I mean, we have to. We did win the Fiesta Bowl this past season, so we have gotten a top-notch bowl game, but we really do need to not blow this upcoming season. And this secondary is a big part of it. Guerrero finally hit 99 speed. You got Bolden, Robertson, that trio of seniors that I am going to absolutely bawl my eyes out about losing at the end of this year. Shout Justice at a
Taste the
93.
biscuit.
Braze is dropping the sub as well. You
Taste the
didn't have to do that,
goodness
man.
of the biscuit.
You didn't have to do that. I appreciate it. Do you normally stream this late? Because now I got to check out your stream in return for sure. I do like seeing what people do on Revamped. Again, I've talked about it a lot here. I do prefer 13's Recruitment, so I am missing out on Revamped, which is very unfortunate. What am I playing this on? The old Xbox 360. We got the 360 hookup here. The menu and all. I don't often run emulators on anything, so. God, Justice is a beast. And John Goodman. Beautiful. That's been kind of the consensus in terms of, hey, what would be great for college football games? 14's gameplay, 13's recruitment. Everyone's happy. Until they add Ultimate Team. Wilkinson and Hand improved, but they're both going to get cut. This team is just disgusting. It really is. We move on to the cuts. I have no idea. 14's recruiting is just points. It's more similar to what they have to Madden nowadays, and it's just... I've talked about it. I can enjoy Madden for what it is. Is it great? No. Ooh, 14 players. Okay, first and foremost, we go to the easy ones. Again, we're keeping Early Scott. We're keeping Robinson. Hate to say it for Clint Wilkinson. Yeah, you've been terrible. So we might lose our Pennsylvania pipeline. I don't care. And then Daryl Hand we're also going to cut. So really, it's 12 people to get rid of. Quarterbacks this year, I don't think I can get away with redshirting Grant. It also doesn't make sense because he and Cox will both be seniors. So Grant's our starter this year, Cox behind him. Then, of course, Gonzalez behind him in terms of the years that they're on, which is beautiful. Good will get redshirted this year. To be honest, Stephen Heinz is probably on the chopping block. 1490 plus overalls this year on the team. Dude, especially with who we lost, Booch. It's crazy. I was through the 18 playoff and let the community help me pick them. Damn. Well, speaking of community, we are trying to decide what conference we're going to next. We have a couple of options, so I'm glad we'll have more voices in the mix to be able to help decide that. So Heinz is on the block. Running back wise, I mean, Bright goes at the end of this year. We got Newton and Smith next year. Hall's already been redshirted. Louis Woods was a wide receiver to running back convert. I think it's fairly obvious, John Talley. I think John Talley's the guy to go. You can make the argument for cutting Woods. Talley, more than likely gonna go. Fullback wise, oh my god, it signed a dude. Why did it sign a dude? Did I need another fullback? Just must be the scheme that I'm in. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Good old Vince Vincent. We do love him. I'm not going to be allowed to cut Andrews, so that kind of sucks, but whatever. And then we get the 1,000 wideout situation. Which, yeah. I mean, obviously, Tyler Holt. I want to try to keep as many of these guys as possible because of the red shirt possibilities. We'll come back. Tight end wise, we're set. ACC, Big East, and the MAC are the options, pretty much. Because if we tried to update the conferences as much as we couldn't make it perfect, obviously. Alright, on the O-line, I mean, I hate to say it, but number one wide receiver all, or at risk of getting cut. On the O-line, we got Jeff Lyles, who could go. Could maybe make an argument for Richards, but man, I fought hard to get that guy away from UConn. Maybe Antoine Lee. Pedro, don't call me Paul Stanley. I mean, we got options. Go figure. We finally have options on the O-line to hold on to. Defensively, I really don't have much room to cut people. Aside from Michael Parker. I think he's the only guy we could consider getting rid of there. Unless we want to get rid of someone who was more established. And again, we have a real shortage of linebackers right now, unfortunately. I undersold how many people would walk away. Again, we can't redshirt either of these two, so we have 5. We can maybe make the option to get rid of Burton at corner. And then safety-wise, I think we're good. So there are definitely dudes we could get rid of to try and keep as many wideouts as possible. I mean, I hate to say it, but Stephen Heinz can go. I mean, he's only a 3-star. we are completely set at linebacker, quarterback for years to come. Not to mention if we get a 5-star recruit. So, hate to say it, had to recruit him out of the great state of Maine, my home sweet home. But Skowhegan's a fucking dump. Sorry, Steven, you're out of here. Running back wise, I mean, again, Louis Woods was a wide receiver. I think we're just going to cut ties with both of these guys. We'll bring in a running back this year. So, Louis Woods and John Talley. Hate to say it, boys, you're both out. We got wide receivers that can play running back, too, if we get in injury trouble. Fullback-wise, we're set. 9 left. I think Michael Parker's going to go. Can't imagine a college football team based... Oh, could you imagine the UConn territory? I mean, there is, you can scout out of Canada here. We have a player who's from, I think, Yukon, Alaska. If I'm not mistaken. Nah, Homer, Alaska. I thought we had a guy. I've seen the UConn mentioned, but regardless. Michael Parker, hate to say it, you're going to go. We'll keep Walker. We'll look to Burton at corner as well. Cut ties with you, Corey. Sorry you're not good enough. I know you're a 4-star, but that overall's way too low. I mean, you could argue maybe have kept the 4-star, and I wouldn't blame you. But he and Dallas Jackson will probably peak at around the same spot. So then it's down to O-line options and wide receivers. Hate to say it, Jeff Lyles, pride of Escondido. You gotta go. You're just too low of an overall. There's 3 other dudes, Lee, Stanley, and Richards, all because they're sub 70. I mean, Richards was actually a 72, so we'll probably keep him. You got Antoine Lee, who was a 3-star, big boy. And then Stanley, who's also a 3-star. I think both of these guys were set up so well in the O-line. We do have some seniors to worry about. But Antoine Lee and Pedro Stanley, we're going to move on from both of them. And that leaves 4 wide receivers to cut. 4 dudes have to go no matter what. So obviously go straight to the bottom. I know you guys kind of like J.J. Harrington. I do too. That speed is nuts. He's a 4-star. But is he ever going to make this team? I don't think he is. Like, we are so stacked here in this regard. Hello, M-Dog. I know. Let me let my dog out of the room. I'm sure she's got to go outside here soon, so we'll try to finish this up quick. There you go, M-Dog. Go on. All right. Let's see if we can speed run these cuts, just because there is a lot to do. God, who the hell do you get rid of? I'm sorry. J.J. Harrington's got to go. He's the easy one. From there, not so easy. We're kind of looking at someone like Todd White, who's already been redshirted as a freshman. Yeah, Todd, I'm sorry. You have to go as well. There are just far too many other options. So we're going to go ahead and cut Todd White. 2 dudes left. Obviously, we look at these guys as potential keeps because they haven't been redshirted already. Honestly, I'm looking at Dusty Thompson and Josh Whitaker just because they can't. They can't be redshirted this year. So, Dusty, West Memphis, we love you. And we're going to go for Whitaker as well. I always go with 90 speed. So, I do try to factor in the speed, for sure. It's especially tough, too. Like, again, we had Guerrero, who could play in the secondary or who could be a wide receiver. And it's like a 6'5" wide receiver with, like, 95 speed as a freshman. That was tough to overlook, but I had a need in the secondary, so I try to walk a balance between, obviously high speed in the secondary, some speed at linebacker, and then the slower dudes can play the line. Doesn't always pan out that way, but we did get it down to 70 players. Again, kind of sucks that you got to let go of some people, but it's the way it works. In chat, we get to the main event. It is late. I need to try and maintain my half-decent sleep schedule so that, the girlfriend doesn't kill me. But we need to decide where we're going next. We need to decide what is next on the agenda. Where do we go? We are getting out of this makeshift WAC conference, leaving it far, far behind. I am tired of competing with just UConn, Idaho, and New Mexico State. We said this team had to earn the right by winning the conference. We finally did. I'm thinking it's going to be the ACC. It's been the most popular opinion, but still we will double check here. Let's see what we got. So again, I want to kind of keep it close geographically. So obviously the Sun Belt makes no sense. No sense for us. The SEC, while an incredible amount of competition, makes no sense for us. Pac-12 makes no sense for us. The Mountain West, say it with me, makes no sense for us. But then you get to the MAC, and you think, well, it could make some sense. It would allow us to dip our toe into the idea of playing in a larger conference. We'd put ourselves in the East to be against Buffalo. Like, that's the idea if we want to just dip our toe into the pool of being in a larger conference. We could go to the MAC. Obviously, we're not going to go independent. I mean, I suppose we could. But then you lose out on the ability to, you know, recruit based off of conference. Conference USA, geographically, doesn't make much sense. Obviously, the eastern side of the conference is all in the south. You get to the Big Ten, again, geographically, doesn't really make sense. So you're looking at the MAC. You're looking, I guess you could say, at the Big East. They need one more team. Geographically, to me, though, still doesn't make the most amount of sense. Big 12, obviously, again, doesn't make the most amount of sense. So for me, really... Oh, dude, Southern Miss went to the national title game 13-0, I think. They lost to Texas, though. For some reason, Southern Miss, Navy, there are these teams that just do incredibly well for no reason. Louisville was third in the nation until we beat them this past year. So, I think you guys can see, again, independent's an option, but meh. We can go to the MAC, be in the eastern side of things with Buffalo. I'm going to rule out the Big East and say it's either the MAC to dip our toe into being in a bigger conference, or we just go for it and go to the ACC. If we kind of want that natural progression, we go to the MAC and then say, okay, if we win that conference, then we go to the ACC. Or we just say, screw it, we go straight to the ACC, go into the Atlantic Division, take on Boston College, and some other tough competition. So, I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit split. I don't mind either option. You know, again, you go to the MAC, you have that chance to earn your way up to the ACC, kind of the crown jewel division that we'll ever be in. Or we just say, well, we were a 99 rated team last year, let's just give us the best chance to make it to a national title game by having some very tough competition built in. Big East, and you could best up. I don't want to beat up on Tulane. I still love Tulane. We'll never forget that Tulane run. I'm telling you. I'm trying to think if I have a preference here. Trying to think if I have a preference. Again, that was the ranking for our team at the end of last year. Oh boy. God, I don't know what to do. And from the looks of it, the chat is going to be rather split. I mean, the funny thing is, if we go to the MAC, that should be one and done. There is no reason as to why we shouldn't win this conference year one and then move on. No reason. Like, by far the best team, even though fucking Toledo beat us last year. They put up 50 points on us. I don't understand it with a 99 defense. You know, the more I think about it, I kind of like the idea of this team having to earn their stripes. I think at this point I like it. We go to the MAC. We earn our way up to the ACC. I kind of like it. Let's do it. Let's go to the MAC. We're doing it. The old Mid-Atlantic. Put ourselves in the East. Be rivals with Buffalo. And earn that rivalry head-on with BC. Except I have to move somebody over to the WAC. And let's be honest, it's going to be Army. So in terms of playing or simming, if it's a big game, we'll jump into the sim. If it's like an A, if we're an A and our opponent's a C or a D, I'll just sim it from the menu. If it's a big game, we'll jump in. We'll sim to the fourth quarter, see how it's playing out. If I have to jump in to save the day, or at least attempt to save the day, I will. So that way we get a decent little mix of gameplay and important games, and it's not just kicking the hell out of New Mexico State. We're going to move Army over to the WAC. We'll leave BYU and Notre Dame as independent. And again, we'll move ourselves in. Home sweet home. From the WAC to the MAC. It's official. And again, if we can't make the most of this and be one and done and earn our right to the ACC, then it's clear we didn't deserve to be in the ACC to begin with. If not putting ourselves in the ACC and being able to, say, beat Florida State like we did in the Fiesta Bowl, beat Clemson or Louisville, earn our way up, then so be it. But I like this idea of earning it. Yes, Void, the 11th means that we are up there. So I don't remember if it's going to make me have an even amount of teams in the conference. It doesn't look like it. So it is official. From the WAC to the MAC. Baby steps up to the ACC, because really that's the biggest conference I think we can find ourselves in to still have it make geographic sense. I don't hate the idea of like, put UMass in the SEC, but also it's like, I don't know. I want to have some sense of realism to it, I guess. So we are in a brand new conference. We leave UConn behind. Clearly I should have put UConn on the other side. But it is a done deal. So we get the 1,000 redshirt options. The custom schedule as well will be interesting. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here in terms of redshirt options. So again, Grant plays, Cox plays, Gonzalez plays, Derek Good's getting redshirted. If he walks away, so be it. We're still fine at quarterback. Can't afford to redshirt Grant because then he and Cox would both be seniors, and that doesn't make any sense. Rutgers in the Big Ten, so realism thrown out the window. I mean, fair enough, but you get what I mean. Running back, we obviously can't redshirt anybody. And actually, let me double check. I'm going to have to double check freshman promises. We'll just redshirt this Craig Andrews kid. Or not, we'll leave him. Whatever, it doesn't really make sense. Alright, wide receiver. Holy shit. So, I need to double check who has promises this year and who doesn't. That is the first step to see who needs to get games on the road. So we got 43 promises pending. Vincent. So we're going to try to play a game in Maryland. So keep that in mind. Try to play a game in Maryland. Campbell. Try to play a game in Pennsylvania. Clifford. Try to play in Alabama. Stevens. Try to play in Louisiana. Oh boy. On the O-line, Miller. Try to play in South Carolina. Texas. Mr. Harris. Richards. I mean, Massachusetts. That's fine. So literally just have a home game, which we're guaranteed. North Carolina. So South Carolina and North Carolina. That kind of blows. Another North Carolina. So 2 times on North Carolina. Linebacker, obviously Bailey. We just had to get him to stay. Griffin is another Pennsylvania option. Lawrence is a 3rd Pennsylvania option. Torres, yeah, I don't think we're playing in Alaska, buddy. I lied to you. I'm sorry. I'm not. And then John Johnson in Idaho, which we would have gotten last year, but hey. And then the punter and Robinson. All right, so 4 of our new recruits are from Pennsylvania with the promise that they'll play a home game. So we're definitely scheduling something for Pennsylvania. That is a certainty. And I guess really I should have been tracking down the names too, but it is what it is. So again, Grant Cox, good, gets redshirted. That's good. So wide receivers. I think Walker was the Louisiana. Scott was, actually no way. So Clifford was the Alabama. Stevens was Louisiana. I mean, in theory, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I can't redshirt these dudes. I mean, really, all but one of these players should probably be redshirted. So I think we leave Travis Walker And then Kellen Scott, David Fountain, David Justice all get red shirts this year. And that way they're on a different trajectory to graduation than Walker. And of course these guys will probably get redshirted next year based on the new recruits. So is it a risk to potentially have them leave? Yes. I mean, you could honestly argue carry 5 wideouts and redshirt Walker as well. But maybe that's too much of a risk. Because I don't really want an 80 overall third option. Tight end wise, nothing we can do. On the O-line, I can't redshirt Miller, so they stay. At guard, we can't afford to risk Mcrae, and I can't redshirt Harris. At center, Josh Andrews definitely gets redshirted. It's easy. Right guard, I can't afford to lose Montgomery. And then right tackle, I could afford to redshirt Nelson, but then it puts him and Sowell both as juniors. So that doesn't really make sense. Defensively, Sanders is my best depth option on the D-line. I can't redshirt him. We can't redshirt Bradley. Burgess. I mean, again, I need weak Sanders and Burgess. Marshall, though. Marshall and Bowser, these guys can get red shirts this year. So we'll have Burgess, we'll have Bennett, Weeks, Sanders, and Bradley. That 5 should be solid. And then defensively, honestly, one of these dudes gets redshirted this year. I like the idea of having Dickens and Mason. Probably redshirt Charles Berg and have him be the guy for the future and have Walker as the third string. Linebacker-wise, I mean, let's be honest, we're not going to be able to do shit here. I do not have the depth at linebacker to get away with redshirting anybody. Because, I mean, Jones has to stay. And we have so many freshmen. Again, Torres can't get redshirted. None of these guys can. Yeah, we'll leave that as is. At corner, can't redshirt anybody there. Safety, no. And then John Johnson, no. All right, so we're good in terms of the red shirts, at least. Couple of risky ones. We'll worry about the depth chart afterwards. So we go to the custom schedule then. And here's how we have to sort it out, because now we get a lot less customization of the schedule. A lot less. We have to leave week 6 open to not run this team into the ground, because look at that. That is an absurd run of games. So, yeah. So redshirt just basically means you sit out the year. If you're a freshman and you get redshirted, next year you're technically a freshman. If you're a junior and you get redshirted, next year you're not a senior, you're still a junior. It's basically you're sitting out the year. So I think, number one, Pennsylvania is needed. And as far as I'm aware there, we don't have a Pennsylvania option. So week 2, we're looking mainly at Pennsylvania and North Carolina that desperately need to be scheduled. I'm looking mainly at the ranked teams right now. Oregon's up there. Southern Miss is still up there. Texas is defending champs, are number 1. Utah, Virginia Tech, Western Virginia. All right, if I take out UNLV, and Clemson. Clemson would be a very interesting one, wouldn't it? That would cross South Carolina off the list. It would be a ranked team, but that is a tough game. Clemson is a possibility. Northwestern, Notre Dame, Southern Miss, TCU. Damn, who do we have here? All text that's news to me. I didn't know there was a new SpongeBob movie in general. I think we have to go for Clemson. We need this schedule to be tougher. If we're going to have any shot of being in the natty conversation, which we want to be, Clemson has to be scheduled one of these 2 weeks. And to be honest, we're going to have to take on some ranked opponents at the beginning of the season. We're just going to have to go for it. And then hopefully we run the table back half of the season for the conference games. Like I said, we could start off with 5 straight games or do break, 4 games, break, and then the gambit. Who's available? All right, I can't even do week 1. So yeah, let's see then. Not Bama, not Auburn. Cincinnati is a team we should be able to beat. The next week, take a trip on down to Clemson. We were a 99 overall team last year, so we should be equally as good, if not close to it. We need a Pennsylvania team in here. Oh, I mean, Pitt certainly works. I mean, Pennsylvania and North Carolina are the most important ones. I would need another North Carolina. NC State. God, I can only get that up to a C. Whew. Nighthawk, take it easy. We might not have the toughest schedule this season. That move to the MAC to earn our way up, it's really limiting what we can do. I mean, again, we faced Pitt to hit the Pennsylvania promises. We hit NC State to hit the North Carolina promises, and then don't really care from there. I mean, Clemson is a high-rated option. Cincy is at least a ranked option to beat. I mean, we could rematch Florida State. We could say, I mean, Kentucky's not on the board, but we could say, what about Louisville? And that doesn't make it any better. It's still a C. We might not be able to get that ranking up all that high. Unless we're insane and say Texas, which, no. At this point, I think we just admit that, yeah, we're not going to have the best schedule in the world. And we just try to run it and go undefeated. Santa, we went with the MAC. And if we win the MAC, then we take on the ACC. We got to earn our way there. We're in the AHL right now. Still got to earn our way to the NHL is how we decided to do it. So NC State, Pittsburgh. I mean, again, these are the times to play those 2 ranked opponents because unfortunately there aren't any ranked opponents outside of Clemson in states that we need to go to, aside from like Texas, which again would be a disaster, or Alabama for that matter. Oregon isn't needed. Mississippi isn't needed. California is not needed. Utah isn't needed either. Damn, this is tough. This is tough. I was all for the ACC gauntlet. Me too. We'll get there. What if we go... Oh, okay, this is the way to get that strength of competition up there. We need to hit North Carolina. We go Auburn to play in Alabama. We go Clemson to play in South Carolina. Take Texas out for a Pennsylvania team because we desperately need to play in Pennsylvania. That would complete 4 promises. And we can go Penn State on that one. I think that's the way to do it. A C+ is about the best we can do. But there are 2 incredibly tough games in the mix. Clemson and Auburn. In theory, we should run the table aside from those 2 games. We absolutely should. There's really no excuse. I think that's the way to do it. Clemson is South Carolina. So we got Clemson for South Carolina, Auburn for Alabama, North Carolina, and then Pennsylvania. So we hit on a couple of promises. I think that's about the best that we can make this schedule. To hit on promises and still have 2 very tough opponents that we'll get credit for. I think that's our schedule this year. It's only a C+, but that means pretty much now it's on this team to deliver. You know, if Southern Miss can make it without really doing a ton... I said I wasn't going to stream late tonight, but here I am. You know, if Southern Miss can do what they did, making it to the Natty without having to really do a ton, I think we can make it. I think we can make it. Again, but that limitation is tough. Team needs change based off of our schemes, which will still change. Let's look pretty much at the top prospects. And we're going to go right for them. Every 5-star. I see no reason to not go for them. Granted, there is a 4-star quarterback who's immediately interested in Seth Davis. I guess we'll check the 4 stars as well that are interested. So Seth Davis will target. We'll also target Dominique Morales and Will Perry. Might have to remove these 5-star running backs, but that's fine. There's also Paul Perry that's interested. Terrence Johnson. Not too worried about Allen. Fullback-wise, there's a couple of 2-stars. Not really worried. Wide receiver-wise, bunch of 5 stars. Are there any 4 stars that are immediately interested? And the answer is yes with Copeland. Whoops, I just had somebody I wasn't supposed to. I didn't expect it to skip. Tight end-wise, is a 3-star that's interested. I'm not really interested. We'll look at 5-star Corey Lane. 4 stars we'll leave alone for the moment. There's a bunch of them anyway. Clay is extremely interested as a 4-star option. Interesting. Not really worried about him. At guard, no 4-star options that are interested. There are some 5-star guards, though. I am going to have to optimize this, but that's okay. We'll get the offense sorted and then optimize from there. And double-check the defense. Are we going to keep the trash talk up about Connecticut? You know it. Alright, so we've got 30 people on offense that I've already kind of noted would be like, hey, these guys wouldn't be that bad to take a look at. In terms of the quarterbacks, there's Davis who's a 4-star that's interested. And there's Perry and Morales. Morales is relatively fast. Alright, not really willing to rule out any of those guys. Running back, there's a bunch of 5 stars. Quinn, this dude is already interested. Houston's a power back who runs a 4.5. Ostrander is a speed back who ran a 4.5, so I'm going to remove him. And those two are both decently fast. These two are both power backs. The advantage goes to Houston. So I'm going to take out Sean McDonald for the moment. There's more competition for Houston as well. We'll rule out McDonald for the moment. Wide receiver-wise, including Vincent. Let's see what we got here. So these 4 stars were already interested. For the 5 stars. I was going to say, if you're not fast, you got to be tall. Holmes is tall. Gibbons is not. I'm going to rule you out. Henderson, decent amount of height. Vincent, decent amount of height as well. We could rule out more. Tight end wise, again, I like Lane as a 5-star. On the O-line, Clay is the only guy that we targeted because he's already interested. For the guards, let's see what we got here for these guards. So obviously, like, you want some mobility, but man, if you're at a 425 bench, just no thanks. I know Texas and Bama are interested, but again, we got to kind of prioritize as best we can here. I think anything under a 450 I'm going to rule out. So Kyle Hill will be gone. Seth Wilson will be gone. And we'll stick with the 3 top guards. And then for centers, there are 2. One that's interested and one that's a 5-star. So for the defensive line, we got 2 5-stars. Defensive tackle, we got 2 5-stars. And a 4-star who we're already on the top of the board for. Is he the only one? Yes, he is. For the linebackers, we got 2 4-stars that are already interested. I'm up to 31 already, though. No 5-star linebackers. There is one in the middle, Adam Ashley. Is there anybody that's interested already? Nope. I know we need linebackers, too, so that's going to hurt. For corners, 1 5-star. Who were the ones that were already interested? 3 stars. We'll ignore them. 1 4-star safety that's interested in Rich Kennedy. There's no 5-star, no 5-stars at all, which is good. And then there's 1 4-star here that's interested in Dane Washington. And I think we're good. Now, there are like 4-star kickers here that I'd love to get, especially if they're that great, but we already reworked the scouting department. So I am going to be missing out on the athletes. I pretty much have no choice but to miss out on the early stages with the athletes here, unless we go for Willis and Keys. But, I mean, aside from that, we're looking pretty good. Unless I were to rule out I guess, the positions that we don't really need, but I think I am going to rule out the athletes for the moment, just because I feel like for the most part, a lot of them take their time to sort things out. So I think we have our starting 35. I've been digging you playing a couple different games over stream. 50. Appreciate that. I've been having a lot of fun with it, man. Like I said, this little rotation that we got going on is a lot of fun. The problem is I end the night with NCAA, and holy shit is this game addicting. So stupidly addicting. We've been on here for 2 hours already. That wasn't the intention. So the board is set. The depth chart will be set. The red shirt's good. The schedule's good. We are moving on. It looks like we're starting the season 10th. And again, the big issue now that we've moved from the very, very small 4-team WAC to the MAC is that, again, I have less control over my schedule, which means I can't really hit on as many promises anymore, which is okay. It's not the end of the world. But the big thing, the big thing, and the big problem that we have here is, you know, you look at the schedule here. It's only a C+. So on one hand, you want to take that conversation as, oh, well, even if we run the table, we're fine. Problem is, there's no guarantees that we run the table. The reason why it's a C+, we have, you know, ranked opponents, but then we're in a horrible conference and we have to play those teams in our division in that conference, and they all suck. Are we going to get caught by the good teams? Good chance, but again, 99 overall. We lost to frickin' Toledo last year. There's no guarantee that we run the table. So this season, as much as I want to say, we're ranked in the top 10, which is the highest we've ever been ranked to start the season. We should compete for the Natty. End of the day, just earn your way to that higher conference. That's how I'm judging this as, you know, a success at this stage, is we absolutely need to win the MAC in our first season. We're a 5-star, 99 overall team. Still, our offense is 5 points better than it was last year. And you look at the competition here, I mean, mid to high 70s. You got some 60s in there, for God's sakes. Over on the other side in the West. I mean, this should be a cakewalk. And then we easily find our way into the ACC, which is kind of our grail for next season. Where, again, you see how many ranked teams are there already. The top 6, it would be the top 7 if we went there, are already ranked. We'll find ourselves in this Atlantic Conference, or at least this division within the conference, alongside BC. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, I want to say national title, and that would be great. But definitely the thing to look at here is what comes next. Our outlook is that we're going to be able to contend for a national title next year anyway, but then we might fall back a little bit, even though we're still projected to be great. There's only 2 teams that have that A+ outlook, and it's Ohio State and Bama, but we're right in that conversation. There's only 4 teams that have an A, and we're one of the 4. So as long as we have good recruitment classes, we're looking that much better. Yeah, I mean, we've done a hell of a job now, heading into Season 8, to turn this team around into this type of contender. It's just, when you look at that schedule, how's it going to play out? How's it going to play out? You know, Penn State, that needs to be a win. These, much like last year, are the 2 tough teams. If we can beat Clemson and we can beat Auburn, we'll see where we end up, especially if we run the table. These first 4 games are the ones that I'm the most nervous about, and again, we had no control over week 7 to week 14 because of the conference. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, again, those are very tough games. They're on the road. Damnation, thank you for the follow, by the way. Great name, too. You know, you look at this. I mean, 2 losses on the season. Just win the conference. Just win the conference. That's all I ask. And again, this team is nuts. Now, if we look at preseason All-Americans as well, I don't think we'll have anybody first team All-NCAA, and we don't. We do have Grant, second team All-NCAA as a quarterback. He was top 5 in passing yards last year. And if we look at the conference as well, I mean, Grant, Walker, Smith, Mcrae, like, we should run this conference. It's not even close. It's not even close. 3 to 4 years ahead of Tulane as far as contending? True. I mean, again, we got some recruits in there, too, that we had no business picking up. So, again, in terms of team needs, we can ignore those because I don't know what type of schemes we're going to run this season. In terms of recruitment, we are going to have a fight on our hands for some of these 5 stars, but we know that we can put up that fight. Who are we in first for right now? I imagine just dudes that we were already talking to. That looks to be the case. Were there any 5 stars here? No. So yeah, we got our work cut out for us in terms of recruitment. I'm excited to see what happens this season, but definitely, I guess, the most pressure that we've ever had on our shoulders, it's at this stage right now.